Hey folks, Pops here. I got a quick question for you. What does whiskey and time travel have in common? Curious? Stick with me and I'll tell you in a moment. So what does time travel and whiskey have to do with each other? Well, nothing really, other than I'd love to have a time machine and go back and get some of that great whiskey that we can't get anymore. But besides that, it's because I'm really behind in getting this review for you. The X8 was supposed to be, or actually was, February's release for StilL 630, and I'm just not getting around to it. So my apologies to Dave and his team, but better late than never, right? So this month's release, or February's release with the X8, is actually a twist on their flagship product, which is the RallyPoint Rye. The normal RallyPoint Rye consists of 90% rye and 10% malt barley. But seeing that February is when Valentine's Day happens, Dave decided to replace the standard malt barley with a chocolate malt. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this, it's not anything to actually do with chocolate. So there's no chocolate in the whiskey. Instead, the malt house takes that barley and they roast it differently, giving it more of a chocolate style roast that adds kind of malty and cocoa nib notes to it to create a different flavor and aroma profile in your whiskey. So it's a nice way to kind of tweak something that's hugely popular for them. As a result, they had to age this one a little bit longer than the other experimental collections. This one was aged for about 24 months. It's still in the standard 15-gallon barrel like the other releases, char number 3, and it was bottled at 100 proof as well. So those are the specs that you need to be aware of. Let's go ahead and dive in and see if it lives up to the tweak that you would expect from the chocolate malt. Now, it's been a while since I've reviewed one, close to 2 months, and as I've said before, there is a very signature oak style in the aroma that comes from these 15-gallon barrels. And having been away from it for a while, that's more prominent than if I was drinking this on a regular basis. Once again, not necessarily a bad thing, just something to be aware of if you're trying one of these experimental collection releases for the first time. But on the nose, you definitely pick up, beyond the oak, you're getting a nice spicy rye aroma, dusty cocoa, if you will. A little bit on the raw spice side, if you will. Not very tempered, but a pleasant nose with that chocolate kind of coming through, and a little bit of vanilla. The color's great. Aged a little bit longer, but 24 months in those small barrels, you're going to pick up a lot of color. Let's go ahead and dive in. Wow. Up front, extremely sweet, candy sweetness, if you will. Vanilla, caramels. Once again with that chocolate, but not a very deep chocolate on the first sip. As it travels through the mid palate, that malty cereal note flavor starts coming through. And as it shifts into the finish, the chocolate that I had kind of really starts converting to more of a coffee flavor profile. Yeah, after a couple sips, chocolate on the front, transferring through, coming off with that coffee flavor that kind of lingers on the finish. Rounded out with young rye, more of that spiced oak barrel. Has really good balance throughout, so nothing is off. Just tastes a little bit young, once again, which, it's 2 years old. It's really kind of cool. I've had the RallyPoint before, and I know what that flavor profile is like. And adding or swapping out the regular malt with the chocolate malt does make a significant difference. I like it. I do. This is one that I would love to see in a larger barrel more than anything. Just to kind of let some of that overarching oak spice, young notes, round out and let the rye and the chocolate malt shine a little bit more. So, Dave, if you're listening, I'd love to see this one aged out longer in a bigger barrel. So if you have the resources, let's give this one a go and get a couple years on it and see where it takes us. So this is number 8. We're going to be doing X9 here shortly as well to get ready for April's release, which is going to be the X10. But this one is a kind of a nice twist on something that's standard in their product library, part of the experimental collection as well. And if you've been following StilL 630 or are a fan of them, this would be a great one to get your hands on if he's got any left, and try it next to the regular RallyPoint and compare the two. Curl up with a fire on one of the last cold nights leading into spring, and enjoy a nice treat that you don't get every day from Dave and the guys and gals over at StilL 630. So, once again, my apologies to everyone for being so late with this review. However, I think it's well worth the wait. So get yourself a bottle. Hopefully we'll see you down at the next release, first Friday of every month at 6:30 p.m. And until then, drink curious.